Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Roni. If you are not new, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. If this is your first time and you get some value from what you're watching here today, feel free to give us a like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Today we are talking about millennial motherhood. Millennial motherhood is, luckily, thank God, it is not what I expected it to be, because I was expecting white picket fence, I was expecting snapback body, house clean, food cooked, everybody taken care of, doing it perfectly and effortlessly, and it was absolutely none of that. I think I think when I hear people who don't have kids talk about the way that they'll be as parents, I find it really amusing because it is so much different when you're in it. I could not have pictured me being the kind of parent that I am today, and I am excited to see what kind of parents they will actually be, because it is a journey. I feel like I was prepared for most parts of motherhood. When I was pregnant, I was really excited. I had everything. I had Pampers to last me a solid year, wipes. I had all the little toys and trinkets. I bought way too much clothes, but I think it's a mistake that all first-time parents make. Like, you just buy too much clothes. Like, there are so many clothes that she never wore because she outgrew them by the time she got to them. It really doesn't make any sense, honestly. I had what I thought were the tools that I needed, but what I was not prepared for was postpartum depression, and it stuck with me for a while. I talk about this on my Instagram all the time. I was in postpartum for 2 years or more. I would say that if I were to give any advice to new moms, it is the traits that I think prolonged my postpartum depression are the traits that make you a good girl or label you as an agreeable, amiable girl in society. And those traits are doing everything yourself, taking on everybody's stuff, saying yes to everything, taking care of everyone's needs before your own, not asking for help, making it look like you have everything put together, showing up everywhere the same way even after this major life change has happened to you. All of those things combined made me much more susceptible to postpartum depression. And on top of that, I was so in tune with what other people needed that I didn't even know what I needed. So even if I were to ask for help, I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know what help I needed. I didn't know what support to ask for. And it took me a long time to figure that out. So my advice would be, if any of these traits sound familiar to you, start looking at changing and shifting those things. And that's things we do on this channel. So feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment, follow. Those are things that I would say work on if you are preparing to become a parent, a mother specifically. After I had my daughter, I feel like I needed space to fall apart. I needed support, but I had not built support systems that were useful to me in this time. And when I say that, what I mean is that I had been doing everything myself. And this is not just like, I had been doing everything myself that, first of all, people didn't even know how to do the things that I was doing. They didn't have the skill set. I was not training them in this time of pregnancy, or they didn't know that I even was doing so many things. And they also had no idea that I needed support because I tried to make it look effortless at that time, strong woman syndrome. And we'll get into that in another video. Those were the things that made me susceptible, and those are the things I would say take a look into if you are a person who is like that before having a baby. And if you had a baby and you have these traits or had these traits, tell me what that was like for you. Now, my mother thinks that all our generation does is gentle parents, and I don't consider myself a gentle parent. I mean, I've been called a gentle parent, but that's not what I consider myself. I consider myself to be a reasonable parent. I think I'm reasonable. I think I went into this knowing that at a young age, this child has just come here. They're gonna be loud, they're gonna be messy, they're gonna make mistakes, they're gonna break things. They are not going to fall in line as soon as they get out of the womb and sit down and keep still and be quiet. Like, it's not even realistic. However, that's how our parents, like the generation before us, that's how they raised us. They wanted us to get into that mindset really quickly, and we did. But in order for me to change that and to change my mindset, I had to look at my triggers. Her her making a mess while learning something, whether that is learning that she cannot turn the cup upside down and also get the juice from the cup, her learning that thing and me having to clean up a mess, it's a part of it. And I understand, because going to work, coming home exhausted after a long day, it's a lot now to turn and allow a child to make a lot of mistakes and figure things out on their own because they're living their own life in conjunction to yours. It's hard to navigate that space. And so a lot of the work when she was younger was on myself. I had to figure out how to manage my triggers, how to manage my reactions in order for her to have the space to grow and to learn and to cultivate her own personality. And one thing that older people will say to me all the time is, oh my God, she has such a standout personality. And I will hear them say that about not just my child, but other kids too. And I'm thinking, it's because you didn't give us space to do anything but be submissive and to do what we're told, that you never saw our personality. But kids have always been this way. It's just that now millennials are allowing kids to express themselves and talk, be heard, make mistakes, and do things that we were not allowed to do when we were kids ourselves. Nothing is wrong with that. They followed the blueprint that they believed was best for us. We have just come now to break the pattern, and that's how it works. I am fine with having a conversation. She understands right from wrong. She understands mistakes. She understands when she needs to apologize. I understand when I need to apologize, and we can talk things through. She can ask me why she has to do something. I don't believe in blind leadership. You don't just do something or go along with something because an adult says so. I think that's also dangerous for girls. I believe in her asking why and probing and understanding what's happening. And even if she doesn't understand what's happening, understanding that I'm doing it because it's in her best interest. And that's the bottom line. So I would say in that regard, I'm a reasonable parent. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm gentle, because I do have times where I lose my temper, where I lose my cool. Like, I'm not always okay. But I will always, if I was wrong, come back and apologize. Or if she felt bad about the way that the interaction went, I have no problem coming back and apologizing, because my intention was not to hurt her feelings. My intention was for her to stop doing whatever the hell she was doing. So we can have those kind of conversations, and I'm hoping that in her teenage years that translates to us being able to have open conversations about bigger things, because bigger things come the older they get. Another thing I didn't know about navigating the millennial mom space is mom guilt. I had heard the term. This is one term I actually came across. However, I believe that I was sold this idea of balance. And I am at the stage where I have realized that it is actual bullcrap. There is no such thing as balance. Like, there is not. You're always giving up something. And I think even before being a parent at all, to do something for yourself, or to do, if you have the choice between doing two things, you're giving up something. There is always an opportunity cost. Like, did I learn that in PRB? I feel like there's always an opportunity cost. There's always something that you give up in order to do something else, and it's no different as a mother. If you need to focus on your business for a season, you miss things. If you need to focus on yourself for a season, you miss some things. I think that's perfectly fine. I think the key in those moments where you're feeling mom guilt is to focus on yourself. Focus on the fact that you are capable of making good decisions. You know that. You have made many good decisions up to this point. You will also make mistakes, and that's okay. You will make choices that are not the best. I think for me, I was so scared of having my daughter having to go to therapy, and she probably might have to anyway. Who knows? I might be doing all this work and she still is like, Mom, I'm gonna need that. And that's okay. That is her journey to walk. I am doing my best. I know that I'm doing my best, and I know that I'm making decisions that are the best for everyone, and that is what I focus on. I focus on just that. I made this decision, and it's the best decision for everyone involved, and I let it go. That's a very simple. These days I'm focused on very simple things. I notice that very simple things get things done. I don't have to have a whole 10-step process, 10-step routine. I can do something very simple and feel better. And so that's what I do. I focus on me and my ability to make good decisions, knowing that I made a good decision, and knowing that she will be okay. She will make it through this decision of mine. Because it is in her or mine or somebody somebody else that benefits her best interest. Another thing that I would say millennial parents are doing is allowing children to experience the full range of their emotions and not have to suppress the ones that we label as bad, like anger or sadness. I allow Zayla to experience the full range of her emotions whenever she feels it. My job as her parent is to teach her how to cope, not how to suppress. Teach her coping skills. For example, one of the things that she does when she's sad or if she's really angry, she says she needs some time by herself. Goes into her room and she processes it. She goes into her bed, curl up in her bed under her sheet, and she processes it there. And when she's feeling better, she comes out and we can talk about it. That I think is something that would have served me so well. I was so suppressed in my emotions, and we'll get to that in future videos on how to cope with things like that. But I think her being able to experience the full range of emotions means, from what I've observed, she shows up authentically in every space that she's in. Every single one. She is herself 100%. Whether you feel it's abrasive, whether you think she's too shy, depending on the situation, whether you think she's too loud, she does not care. She does not care how you feel about her opinion on what she's saying. She does not care about the receiver. She cares about her being authentic and in her own authentic space. And I think that's the greatest gift that we can give to women, the permission to be your authentic self at all times and show up that way and still know that at the end of the day, you are loved, you are cared for, and you are supported by your tribe. She knows that no matter what she does in this world, I will always love her. I will always support her. I will always be there for her. Regardless of the mistakes, regardless of what she does, she's not afraid to go out there and try and make a mistake and come back to the drawing board because she knows that mistakes are a part of life. And that is the cycle that millennial parents are breaking. It's not necessarily that we're soft or softer on our kids. I don't think so. Of course, there may be exceptions to the rule and there are extremes to everything. But I think in general, what millennial parents are doing is allowing space for authentic human beings to come up. And we are raising people who are confident, who are self-assured, and who are expressive in their day-to-day lives. And I'm grateful to witness it. I think there are so many cycles we break as millennial moms and dads. And these are just the cycles that I feel like I have been breaking day by day with my family. But I'd love to hear what cycles you think you're breaking. Has any of this been helpful to you? Let me know in the comments. I would love to discuss this topic. I love talking about motherhood because I wish there were so many more people talking about it when I was pregnant in this way so that I could have been more mentally prepared for what was to come, because it came and I almost didn't make it. Thanks for watching this week, guys. I will see you next week with a brand new video. Take care. Bye.